But anyways.
I do remember one of the dinners. I think it was like the first steward dinner I photographed. I was like, this motherfucker's got a Teamster tattoo on his head. I'm like, get a photo of that. You know what I mean?
You did take a picture.
Yeah, I remember because I was like, that's hard, dude. I'm like, dude, that's tough.
I think we were standing there and Bobby came up behind me and he's like, hey, can I get a picture of your back of your head? And I was like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I never saw that picture, but I remember you taking it.
Yeah, I got it. Looks good.
Oh, wow.
And actually, he was more like, yeah, go ahead. No problem. And I was like,
Oh, like that? He did this?
he's actually really nice.
Bobby's got jokes now. You're fired, Bobby.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here. Right?
Like,
Sure, you can take a picture. Thanks for
One
asking.
hand motion and Silas is done.
I'm like,
Pulls out some lotion. And he's like, hang on.
This podcast may contain views and opinions which are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any local agency, organization, union, employee, or company, including the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Clock Shop Talk. I almost fucked that up. Really close.
I would say you fucked that up.
Yeah, whatever. Off the Clock Shop Talk. I said it.
There you go.
I mean, we've been saying it for 2 years now.
Yeah. You'd think you'd get it right. But
Hey, we all make mistakes. I'm just human.
yeah.
Anyways, the show this week, we're excited. We're going to talk about bringing the Teamsters into the 21st century, and we have just the guy to do it. All right. Well, without further ado, I'd like to introduce. I know we've mentioned him for a couple weeks, but the new comms director for Teamsters Local 952, Bobby Wainwright.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Bobby?
What's up, Bobby?
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Huge fan of the show.
We appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Honestly, I will say that, just in talking to you kind of, and I've said it to you before, but you kind of inspire me, right? Somebody that's really into comms and really into that line of work, saying that the show is good, decent. I know we need everybody out there to think it's good and decent. But it lights a fire under me. I want to.
It means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, I want to get better content. We've been talking about it for a while. I want to, just reach more people. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this, is to reach more people, get people excited, involved, active, in union business. That's the whole point of the show. We're out here working to better people's lives, but the union is only as strong as you. Right?
Only as strong as you.
What I love about this podcast is, you guys have mentioned it before too, is that it's not negative. It's more informative. Yeah. It actually helps people learn about what the union does, what, not just our local, but the entire Teamsters as a whole does for its members. It's been a guide for me to help understand my position, what I'm supposed to do at work.
What we do here.
Yeah. Man,
Bobby's the first time Teamster.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't introduce our other guest. Guest number 2, Salas Porras. What's up, Salas?
Fuck John. Anyways.
That's not how it goes, and you know it.
Yeah, so, Bobby, this is your first time when you came in that you got introduced to the Teamsters. Now you're an official Teamster now. Yeah. So I know that's something we kind of discussed, something new for you. You were like, man, I came in here, didn't even realize what you guys really do. Yeah. And you've now gone with John and myself to recognize a couple members. It was safety. You've done it at CBS. You've done it at...
I've gone to over, I want to say 25 yards.
Okay.
Really?
On the one video with the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That was when I really understood. I was like, oh, like it's
This is more than just UPS and
exactly.
CBS. It's like it's a whole,
it's a movement. It's a
big movement.
It's a lifestyle. It's, I was always, I knew nothing about unions. I had my assumptions about unions. I would always.
And what was that assumption?
Oh, they just take dues and.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I will say that some do. I mean, that's not like an unfounded, idea of
that
what...
trope has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some unions that aren't very active, that just kind of collect dues. And I mean, I'm sure they get, offer benefits and all that stuff as well, but maybe not as active. And that can say, because I came at it here, that was almost what our local was prior. Eric really came in and changed the culture, and it's taken a while, and we're still working at certain yards. Myself and Savas can attest. UPS is still one of the ones that I think needs to get involved and active, and we've been trying. We're trying. Changing culture isn't easy. You can't just snap your fingers and it's done when, you're almost working on the younger generation. That's kind of how cultures change, right? It's a generation that grew up in this time frame, and that is, like their culture, and the younger generation is usually the one to kind of usher in a new type of culture. Yeah. So we've been banging. That's what we're doing here. And that's actually what we're here to kind of talk about today. So I guess let's kind of get into the first topic. Like, what are some ideas that you have? Obviously we started the show, and I think none of us are trained like you. Not, we don't live in that realm, but I know the communication has changed, period. So, I mean, what are some of the ideas that you kind of have to usher us into that?
Well, first and foremost, I would say great job to George. George is the man that edits. And,
George is the man.
If you've noticed, there's 3 cameras. They're all different angles, and as you're watching, each one's cut when one person's talking. And to top that off, you got to sync them all. You got to adjust the audio. That's a ton of work, and you guys are doing it damn near every week. That's
George
crazy.
Is doing it.
Yeah. But you
Thank
guys,
you, George.
You guys are also
Thank you,
showing
George.
up every week,
Yeah.
which is like, you guys have
That's
families
another-
and kids and stuff like
for
that.
the most part.
That's another big deal. No, because that's
huge.
Like I told you before, I've run other podcasts, and that was also another issue. Even though I was doing the work then, getting people to show up is another big
Absolutely.
deal. It really is.
Especially on a Saturday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Off the
Yeah.
clock. But the other thing that's really impressive is actually doing it and putting it out. My whole life I've been surrounded by super creative people, amazing artists, and they could talk about all the creative ideas that they have, but nothing's going to happen until you actually focus and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have been launching this. It's been over a year now, and it's awesome. There's a ton of information that someone like me don't know much about unions. I was able to binge and educate myself as much as I can on a union and what we do specifically. So that's
super cool.
amazing. It's like really, truly amazing. And you guys don't shit talk other than Sabas. I mean, fuck Sabas.
Yeah, he said it.
Bobby,
You
Sabas is like-
you guys interrupted. I was going to say,
Bobby,
fuck, Sabas is a great man.
thank you, Bobby.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right? He was almost like, we just had breakfast this
Yeah,
morning.
well, I'm just gonna
We
say,
broke bread.
We
Broke
Bobby
bread.
and I just had breakfast this
believe
morning without John and George, just me and Bob.
But yeah, so the fact that you guys are actually pursuing it and you're launching it, this could have been an idea. I'm sure it was an idea for a while before one of you guys actually went. Let's get on it. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Myself and George were talking about it probably for like 6 months, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it for a while, and then just it kind of just happened one time. We're like, let's just shoot something and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
And maybe you could throw a little insert in there,
little
a little clip of John's kitchen, the garage.
Oh yeah,
right.
we
All
did. We
these
literally
different
literally
places that we
recorded in his kitchen for I think the first 6 or 7 episodes or so. The profits. I mean, that's just how companies work.
Yeah, that's business, right?
business.
And we see that side too, for sure. We see that they need to run a business and they're trying to be profitable, and
But we also
they're
need to
making
have
record profits.
they are making record profits, and we need to have
on
fair.
our back.
We need to have fair, like a work environment.
Well, yeah, I think any of us, if we had some money in some kind of stocks, right, and it's making money, right, we don't really give a shit how it's making money.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah.
We don't look at it that way. But as union brothers and sisters working for UPS, we see the tremendous amount of money that this company is making, and it is off our backs, and we are entitled to have a share of that. We really are. I get it. Like, if I had some, I don't give a fuck how it grows. Just make me some money, right? But at the end of the day, there's human people behind that, right?
Yeah.
and
There's lives.
and it's up to us as a Teamsters union and as this contract coming up. We are setting the standard across not just the nation, but we're
Globally.
talking globally. Yeah.
Internationally.
And we did
my
one
dining
episode in this guy's garage.
Yeah.
Probably within the next week or two.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I
as long as it
appreciate
works with your
George. I
schedule.
appreciate that, John, Sabas, whatever you guys need from me, brothers, you keep doing what you're doing. You guys are good people, and I support this podcast, man. Thank you guys.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bro. I'll see you at the hall next week, brother. Thanks for giving me the time, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, there you go, brothers and sisters. It's at UPS we think we have these numbers, the standards. It goes on everywhere. It's called
It goes everywhere.
corporate America. Stockholders. They want to make money.
Shareholders.
It's crazy. Erickson brought that up. The white collar criminal, right?
Bro, I literally have a UPS shareholder on my route.
Yeah.
And he lives in such a ridiculous house. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. He's like, hey, make me that money. I'm like, as I deliver him packages, I'm like, you son of a bitch.
It's a box full of
On
cash.
he has a beautiful home on the side of a hill in Laguna Beach. It's fucking crazy.
Nice.
In the garage.
We were a little mobile studio. Well,
Yeah.
George was a little mobile studio for a
Yeah,
while.
for a while.
But we just really wanted to get information out there in a different way. People do not communicate the way they used to. It's not about flyers and newspapers. I mean, you look at the giant newspaper companies; they basically all went under for the most part. They've switched to digital. Everybody is just. It's changed the way we consume information. Not to mention people's attention spans are about this big now.
Yep.
Thanks, TikTok.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's the way of the world. And
Yeah.
if we don't change, we die. That's
You have to
just
adapt.
The way
You have to adapt, yeah.
So on that note, I will suggest this. My old man told me this years ago, and it actually really helped me a lot. In a world where we're just oversaturated with a ton of real news, fake news, whatever news, bullshit news. Why did I just watch this and spend 5 minutes of my life, news? It is still really important. I do suggest always get a newspaper, like a real newspaper. That shit's straight up facts, Also, whatever city you live in, I always read the local.
Oh,
they
the
always have
local newspaper?
because that's amazing to know what's going on in your community.
It's also supporting your community.
Yeah. And if any of you guys have like a side hustle or like you're doing something with sales, it's also a great way to be like, oh, they usually interview the new business owners and they're like, oh, Pete and Marissa just opened up this thing. Now you can know, oh, Pete and Marissa just opened up this taco stand. I'm going to go talk to them.
Yeah.
Rather than just going in, can I talk to the owner?
Yeah,
It's very informative. You know what I mean? And it's really cool, So I always suggest two things on the social. If you're hard left or hard right, follow them both so you could hear
I
both
actually do
opinions.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do.
And then the other one is pick up an actual newspaper and read it. It's pretty fun, Your fingers get all fucked up, actually.
Yeah, all full of
little-
ink.
Yeah, it gets ink. That kind of pisses me off, but it's still informative,
Yeah.
I will say though, and this is actually probably a different topic for Sawis's. What is Sawis's show called?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Off the rails.
Off the rails.
Off the rails.
Sawas Porras. I think that we have to be careful even what we consume as far as media, even in mainstream media. I mean, I don't think that they are all that honest all the time either.
No. Yeah.
This goes back to, honestly, forever. Propaganda's huge, change minds. That's feed whatever narrative you want to feed.
Yeah, they just feed you a
It is
narrative.
what it is. So I like the idea of consuming a broad range of information and trying to weed that out for yourself. Now, some instances it's kind of impossible. You're like, I don't fucking know what's going on in the Ukraine. You know what I mean? But that being said, it just consume a lot of information. It's good for you. It balances you out more, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with staying informed, right?
Yeah.
I think Denzel Washington has a good quote. What is it?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
Okay, let me just quote it. Okay, Denzel Washington once said, "If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed."
Yeah.
This quote reflects his official perspective on how information is presented by the media and the challenges of discerning the truth.
Yeah, and that's
That's
very
nice.
true, because there's a lot of like companies that they do have a narrative they want to push, because they're either facing they're either left or they're right, and they're trying to push you in that direction.
Yeah.
You know,
I like neutral forms of information, which is super hard to find
It's very
these
hard to
days. But somebody that looks at things from both perspectives, and since we can't get a lot of that, it's good to watch definitely both.
I hear that's why it's nice to like watch news from a different country, because they only give you facts. They don't try and push a directive or a narrative.
Unless it's China.
Yeah. I mean, unless from there.
Yeah, you never know. Well, so now we've kind of talked about how people are consuming information and the way that's changed. So what are we doing here now that are trying to get with the times?
Yeah. So, little backstory. I was in a band. I graduated high school in 2004.
Okay.
And 2005, we started a band. At that time, there was zero social media.
Yeah.
We were
There's
old
chat
school.
rooms.
Yeah. I mean, there was AOL,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I don't even think Friendster was out yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. I remember, I want to say it was 2005 or 2006. My buddy came up to me. He was like, hey, I found out this website you can like meet chicks on. I was like, what's it called? He's like, MySpace. We did it. We like met and talked, and everybody was cool. And that's kind of when social media was pretty cool. Kind of made all of us learn coding, weird. But, at that time as a band, that's what you did. You literally printed a bunch of flyers, and then you went to Huntington Beach, and you're like, hey, we're playing a show in Fullerton. Come check it out. And you just went and talked and met with people, and people would show up, Once social media came out, it was super, super weird. It was almost, we would be out there trying to hand out flyers, and people would be like, ill. And you're just like, what? Fuck, why are you saying no? And they're like,
It changed everything.
Yeah, it really changed everything. So like,
They're like, wait, are you on MySpace?
yeah, exactly. So, and then I believe, the iPhone came out in 2007.
Did it? I don't even remember.
I'll put it up here.
Steve Jobs announced the iPhone to the world and quoted, "Apple is going to reinvent the phone," and it did. The iPhone was announced on January 9th, 2007, and it was released June 29th, 2007.
Yeah, the world was just changing hard, dude. And like, I remember as a band, as somebody that's trying to get your message out and get people to go to the shows, I was just like, dude, shit is changing. You know what I mean? Like, times are changing. Good old Bob Dylan.
If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times, they are a-changing.
What do we need to do? So like, I started learning, because we were starting to tour at the time. We were starting to tour like the West Coast and stuff. And I'm like, well, shit, I need to make money on the road somehow, So like maybe I could, we were hiring people to do T-shirts and graphic artists and stuff like that for us. So I'm like, on the road, I could have a laptop and I could just learn how to do graphic design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what started my whole graphic design world. And then just, again, all these new social media apps are coming out. You got to learn about the algorithms and stuff like that. It first kind of started out with just whoever you're following is going to start popping up in your feed in order, which I really miss, to be honest.
Yeah, that was actually kind of nice.
That was way cooler, dude. Like, now
You just get fed stuff now.
Yeah, now you don't even have to like something. Just the fact that you paused on something, it's going to be like, oh.
Yeah, you like that.
You looked at that.
You like looking at elephants. And you're just like, what the fuck is it?
The algorithm's weird.
Yeah.
It also listens to us, which is creepy.
And I mean,
I'm going to see if an elephant popped up right now.
So, fast forward, a year or two ago, I started working with the Teamsters. I was kind of down on some finances, and I just sent my resume to a bunch of people I knew. One of them was Eric. I was like, hey, if you guys need any like work, let me know. Actually, I really don't want to do photo and video because it's been like, I like doing the work, but I just hate the people that I was doing it with because they're super picky. And Eric hits me up like a week later. He's like, hey, you want to do some photo and video for me? I'm like, great. Thanks for listening to me.
Thanks for listening, Eric.
And then that was when my first video project was filming the UPS rally here that we had here when Sean O'Brien was here.
Oh, nice.
And I was just like, what the fuck did I get myself into right now? Like, these guys are angry.
Angry.
And I was like, it was cool because, I'm used to filming a lot of corporate events, a lot of wine and wineries and breweries and stuff like that. And they're all like, today we're going to be testing out this.
All bougie.
Yeah. And then, like, they're pinky up. I get here and it's just like, Sean O'Brien's like, buckle your shoe straps. We're going to fuck some shit up. I'm like, what am I filming here?
You should do like a side-by-side of the two last projects you
Yeah,
did.
exactly, dude. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And then, right off the bat, I think you guys have said it before, Teamsters are some intimidating looking dudes. You know what I mean? Like, not really one that you just, if you don't know them, you're just going to walk up and be like, hey, could I put a mic in front of your face?
So that was scary.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember kind of like photographing him from the distance and being like, I hope he doesn't look. And he'd turn around and be like,
I was scary.
What's happening over here? Birds.
Birds. Actually, I remember.
I think that was Miguel.
Well, he's also scary looking.
Miguel
dude.
looks pretty tough too.
You guys look the same.
They're the same guy.
You guys could be brothers.
Just one's wearing glasses, one's
Well, that's why I let my hair grow out.
You look a lot more perfect.
That's
I
why you
actually
did it.
remember-
Oh
So
yeah,
we can tell
because
you two
people would
apart.
they would go up to Miguel and be like, "Hey, I met you over here." He's like, "No, that was
Oh,
Sauce."
yeah.
And then people would come up to me and go, "Oh, I met you." I go, "Oh no, that was Miguel."
Yeah.
But anyways,
I do remember one of the dinners. I think it was like the first steward dinner I photographed. I was like, this motherfucker's got a Teamster tattoo on his head. I'm like, did a photo of that. You know what I mean?
you did take a picture. You
Yeah, I
still
remember
have
because I
that?
was like, that's hard, dude. I'm like, dude, that's tough.
I think we were we were standing there and Bobby came up behind me and he's like, "Hey, can I get a picture of your back of your head?" And I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, I never saw that picture, but I remember you taking it.
Yeah, I got it. Looks good.
Oh wow.
And actually, he was more like, yeah, go ahead, no problem. And I was like, oh,
like that. He did this.
he's actually really nice.
Bobby's got jokes now. You're fired, Bobby.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here. Right?
Like, oh,
Sure, you
jeez.
can take a picture. Thanks for
One hand
asking.
motion and Silas is done.
I'm like,
Pulls out some lotion and he's like, hang on.
yeah.
I'll send you that photo. It's
Yeah. We're gonna have to put it up now.
Put it up.
So
Yeah.
then, I had to start learning who the Teamsters were, called up my dad. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this cool work. He's like, oh, your grandfather was a Teamster, and this and that. And I showed me my grandpa's like Teamster card and all this stuff. I was like,
That's cool.
fucking
That's
awesome.
cool. You should bring it in so we can check it
Yeah,
out.
no, I'd love to see it actually.
Yeah.
That's like Northern California stuff.
It's all right.
Just as I started learning more about the Teamsters, I started asking Eric, I'm like, dude, why don't you guys have like an Instagram? He's like, we do. It's publicity _ something. I was like, what? What about a Facebook? And they're like, oh, it's Teamsters 952 local union. I'm like, huh. So like started just kind of thinking, I'm like, dude, you guys need to like get up on this kind of stuff. He's like,
Get with the times.
yeah, and I mean, literally at the time, he was like, dude, we're kind of just old school, like leaflets and stuff like that. I was like, I used to say that with my band,
Yeah.
And then after working with you guys as a freelancer for about a year or two, or I guess it was about a year now, the job position came up where it's like, hey, each of the locals that, are able to have one is pretty much needing a comms director, a communications director. And I have a lot of experience in photography, video, graphic design, web development. I do kind of lack experience in like copywriting and stuff like that, so it was a bit intimidating. But I've never ever worked for any company that's actually been more supportive. And I'm like, anything you need, if you need training, if you need this and that, we got it. You know what I mean? Like whatever you need. So the goal nowadays is to, there's 6 major social platforms that we need to post on. I would have normally said need to post every day on, but I just listened to something recently where it's like actually the older algorithm, like in 2019, that is what it is. Like post 2-3 times a day, cool. It worked great. Not
It's
in 2024.
different. It's different now.
Nowadays, it's actually the quality. Like they're like, you guys need to double and triple down on the quality.
Because there's so much content. Because there's so much content now, people are your video needs to stand out because there's so much.
Yes.
So your quality has to be good.
Mm-hmm. You got to make it to where somebody is going to go, I want to
see that. Yeah.
Watching, I want to subscribe to this. The real goal, we were talking about this morning, is what happens if Facebook or Instagram goes away and you have 1 million followers and you're living life on all this shit?
Yeah.
It's like, if that goes away, then you're nothing. So the real goal is to get people to the website. Your website's a hub that's going to be the information that, our members are going to listen to. Mm-hmm. So that's my goal right now. My goal is to actually update our website. This week we've been taking all new headshots of everybody.
I actually get to be on the website.
Nice.
You're not even on it, huh?
No.
Wow, dude. No. That's amazing.
Almost 3 years in and I'm not on it.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to the website recently and I'm like, oh, John's not on here. It's weird.
I guess that's when you finally hit your seniority. 3 years.
I don't know.
Sucks till you have it, John.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I want to make it to where our nearly 10,000 members feel like they could get any information at any time. They know who their BA is. They even know who their stewards are. Like they could download contracts. I want to make it to where they can even do like little
So like a
things.
multi-function website.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make it to where even, everybody that I know that's a Teamster, they always have like a Teamster background on their phone, and I'm like, but they're always all like scaled incorrectly. I'm like, why not have a little like tab on there where it's like, what kind of phone are you on?
Yeah.
Which
That's
image do you want? It's like already sized up. It looks great.
Oh, wow. That's
like
awesome.
little things like this that I want, to do. You guys hired me. You were mentioning it. I'm a fly on the wall. That's my job. I'm just to be a fly on the wall, shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I mean? And I'm just like sitting here
Bobby
watching.
turned into a dad. Real quick.
sounds-
Shut the fuck up and listen.
It sounds
Shut
like they
fucking
wanted
mouth,
you to be
Bobby.
a spy.
I'm like a spy, but I'm like, they're like, the spy's right there. You're just going to listen. And I'm sitting here watching you guys. Like, it's not to sidetrack. As a photographer, it's really cool because you get to have access in things that a lot of people don't have access in.
Yeah.
Backstage at concerts, in panels, UPS panels, during negotiations, things like that. It's okay for the press to be in there, but not everybody else. So it's really cool, dude. Really, really cool to see what the hell you guys are doing for the members. And then the time that you guys are going. I'm like, dude, you're there at 3 a.m. You're there at 3 p.m. You're there at 7. You're there at, I'm just like, wow. Like
10 o'clock at night.
So my job is to show our members what we're doing and do it honestly. So, and I'm still learning, so I almost feel like as I learn, I want to show our members I want to help educate them on what I'm learning,
Yeah.
We should do a segment called Bobby Knows Nothing. It's just a new thing that like, I'm just like, here, this is what I learned today,
Yeah.
Here's what arbitration is, like.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely
There's
a
a
lot
lot
to
there.
learn.
There's
And
a lot
I
there.
think in each level, and we've kind of spoken about it, we actually had a good segment on it with Carla Schumann, is like in each level that
Carla's
you kind
badass.
of progress or you each level that you take on. I should say it's more of a responsibility. Each responsibility that you take on, whether it be a steward or, a BA or secretary treasurer or what else, a whole list of things. It's like you think you know what is going on. You think you know what that person does. You have no clue. It's like you open a closet door and you walk into a warehouse.
Right. It says,
That's kind of the
It says
analogy.
BA here.
Yeah.
Let's go in there. Fuck.
Yeah, it's definitely there's a lot to the different positions. The Teamsters are definitely one of the unions that puts in work. We're working constantly.
You guys, I didn't realize I was going to be working at a law firm is what I feel like. You know what I mean? Like where my office is, it's kind of like in the middle of like everybody. I could hear John Green talking. That guy's brutal, by the way. He's awesome.
Yeah,
John Green's fucking awesome.
Shout out to John Green.
Yeah, shout out to John
there
Green.
you go.
Dude, like I was kind of under the impression of like, oh, you guys just go and make face and hear a complaint and go, okay, well let me figure it out. But I'm like sitting in the office. I'm like, dude, there's so much legal talk that all you guys are doing. Like, I'm like, Jesus, like you guys need to be like educated. It's not like just, you know, they don't just pick anybody to be a BA. You know, they pick somebody that's actually going to be dedicated, and that's somebody that's actually going to put the time in understanding and learning what needs to be done and how and why. And it's mind blowing. It's the first job I've ever had where I actually feel like I need to work as hard as my coworkers. Yeah. And I feel like I can't, you know, like I could work on photos all day, but I'm like, dude, I'll show up at a yard at 3:30 once a month with you guys, but you guys are doing it all the time. So I tip my hat to you guys. Actually, shout out to the BAs in the Teamsters.
Shout out.
Because all you guys,
thank you for that.
Work your ass off.
But shout out to the stewards too. I will say that we could not do our job without the stewards. It would be impossible. You know, shout out to you guys. You guys work hard. You guys are still on the truck and in the warehouse and doing your normal job. Plus, I know myself, Savas, George is a steward right now. We've all been stewards. It's a lot of work. Plus your normal job. And I will say I guess that was one thing that I did not understand coming into this job was the amount of work, the amount of training, the amount of all that. I think there's a lot of people, you know, a lot of smart people out there within the Teamsters that could definitely do the job. But the amount of time it takes, the amount of time away from your family, the amount of travel, the amount of training, everything that entails, I think a lot of people would shy away from this job for sure.
Yeah, it's like we said before, it's not a job, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's 100%. Quite literally a lifestyle.
This question goes for all of you guys. So it goes from a member, and then the member has an issue. They go to the steward first, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. If things need to be taken up the chain, it goes to the BA, right? Mm-hmm. And then the BA takes it further and further.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you have the weight of other people's, for lack of a better question, do you find yourself worrying about these people's issues? Like,
about the members' issues?
Yeah, like, I worry
about the members' issues all the time.
You see yourself driving, and you're just like worried about somebody else so much, you know, that it actually interferes with your life.
Sometimes it does. Yeah. Because some of the issues are very pressing, you know, and it's just like, it's just like a thought in the back of your head, because like, you're just like, I don't know how much more I can do or what I can do sometimes, because like I'm still kind of a new steward. I'm like 2 years in now, and it's still pressing, because like I don't even know what to do, and I have to ask him, or I have to ask another, you know, my other shop stewards in my center, like, hey, what do I need to do here to make this work? Because I don't want this member to get punished for something that I said, you know, because then I'm going to feel horrible. Like if I told them to do something and then they get the axe, you know, not cool.
Scary.
Yeah.
And then you guys are dealing with all kinds of grievance, like hundreds. I've seen you guys, stacks, papers. I'm like, those are all issues, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important, you know, to have the stewards that are very supportive, that are involved, because they are the ones that are on the front lines, and some of the stuff don't come to us if they're able to process or adjudicate those grievances. So I always I always make it a point to acknowledge our stewards, because they do a lot of work. They really do. Yeah, you know, it's and also we were in the building on Thursday, Twilight, and there was a particular issue with the member, and it has to do with California state law rather than our contract and our CBA. And he's expressing his frustration with it, and I'm telling him, I'm like, look, this is not contractual. This is what I need you to do. I need you to file a claim with the state. And he's like, well, you know, that's your job. And I'm like, look, bro, my job is to enforce what's in this contract. Sorry that you're going through what you're going through. It is a California state law. I need you to do this. And he's getting a little upset. And I said, bro, because he's like, isn't this your job? And I had to explain to him, no, this is my job is to enforce this. But guess what? Now that you've gone through this, you get to go out there now and share that experience with this particular issue and educate the members. And he was like, what do you mean? That's not my job. And I said, well, as a union, right, that is your job.
You're supposed to share information.
Right? Go out there now and share your experience, because of somebody that's going through that. You know now that's not a contractual issue, but this is the way that you can get this done, and I need you to do it. And so go share that with them. And it kind of blew him away. He was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, brother, that's what you need to do. Now you need to educate the members with this particular issue, how you dealt with it and how you're going to get it done.
Yeah.
Because I can't enforce that because it's
state mandated.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's one thing that you'll never think about. Honestly, you really don't think about it when you think about this job. But not only do we have to be versed in the contract, I mean, you don't have to be, but it's really good to be versed in state law.
Yeah.
How to address certain issues that might not be contractual. You want to help your members. It's not like we don't want to help them. Especially when we talk about FMLA,
right?
Any approved leave, short-term, long-term disability, all those things. You really need to be kind of up and be able to point people in the right direction. It's not something that's our job. At the end of the day, when people file for FMLA, when they file for short-term disability, that's not our job.
Yeah.
It really isn't. They need to file with the Hartford, for UPS. There's like a third-party company that runs their leaves. Then they need to file with the state. There's a lot of steps that they need to do, and we need to be able to point them in the right direction. But at the end of the day, that's not our job. And we have members sometimes that don't understand that, that will be like, well, I need your help. You need to do this. You need to provide me with it. I'm like, that's not really our job. I want to help you as much as possible, point you in the right direction.
Then you got to do the rest of the work your own.
Then you got to do the work. So there's just different aspects of the job that you wouldn't even think of, to be honest. You just wouldn't even think of.
And I think yesterday when we were talking, Bobby brought up and I don't know if you were there, we were talking about how we should do segments on stories that we go through.
We were just talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're going to actually talk about that later. So we're going
okay,
to save that.
All right.
But so not that we were off track, but I kind of wanted to get back on track with just kind of talks on what our plans to get into, this new generation is in regard to not only the social medias, but the attention span, putting out quality content. Bobby actually came up with a great idea, and it's something that we've done here before, which is story time, right? Everybody loves story time. Everybody loves, a good story. And it's even better when it's from a good storyteller. That is an art form. And in fact, pre-written word, that's how they pass down knowledge,
So we've survived as humans.
Yeah, exactly. You pass down information and knowledge through stories, whether by the fire or, whatever. So I think it's great. It's a great idea, and it's something that we want to implement here. So I will put a call to action out there for you guys. Send us in your stories, please. If you have one, maybe it's too long, you want to, let us know over the phone. If you think you can tell a good story, maybe we'll call you in and, have you on the show.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. I think everybody loves that. And we have the best stories, dude, from pooping in the parking lot to...
That's the story you led with?
So many stories, dude. So many stories. Getting the cops called on you. You know what I mean? We just have a lot of stories as Teamsters. This job comes with all kinds of fun and all kinds of craziness. I don't know. What do you think about it, Sawas?
That that poop story.
Yeah, I think he was on board. So you said pooping in the parking lot. He's like,
That's actually
that's a good story.
that was a story that actually was a member that at the time I was representing the preload, and it happened in Laguna. I'm not going to get into the whole story. We'll save it, but it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild. It was pretty wild, and I think that story needs to be told. I think everybody would get a good kick out of it.
Yeah.
all right.
But just some of the craziness that goes on.
It warms your heart when you hear that story.
We will not share any names.
Yeah.
Even with our own stories, we're not going to share names, so don't ask us to. We just want the stories. That's it. We want to put the stories out there as members. There's a lot of stories. As you know, I mean, it's just we live in a crazy world, do a crazy job. Sometimes it's fun to hear other people's experiences.
Yeah, I mean, even I remember a real short story. There was this little boy waiting for, it was Christmas Eve, and this is before even the 22-4s. Uh-huh. You know, I was out there. It was like probably, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, we used to stay out there till we were done, right?
Hours, dude.
And I remember I was so pissed off, you know, because company had us out there late at night, and it's Christmas Eve, and I want to go home, and getting down to like my last delivery, and I remember walking up, and they had the door open. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and this little boy comes to the door, and he was waiting for this package. He knew it was his Christmas gift. And he just got all excited, and he's like, mommy, you know, and it's here. It just erased the whole day.
100%. There are moments like that do that.
And that was like very rare. I mean, I have a lot of stories like we all do, but that one always sticks out to me because I walked away from there, and it just took every bit of anger that I had for the whole day that I was there, and it made me realize for that little small moment what Christmas was for that little boy.
Yep.
That little boy, like I was his Santa Claus that day. You know what I mean?
Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's just you know,
good nickname.
That's just we got a lot of stories. I think we need to share some of those stories.
Yeah.
You know, so
we'll definitely be putting out a segment here where whether it's its own individual show, like a branch off, we're still waiting for Sawis's Off the Rails, but you know, I think it's great that we share moments like that and crazy, funny moments and termination stories.
They all need to be heard.
All kinds of stuff.
They really kind of all need to be heard. Yeah, because it gives you a better understanding of the job as a whole. You know,
even crazy stories,
especially crazy
accidents.
Stories.
You know, I mean, I know. One time I was delivering at Christmas Eve, same thing, and it was pretty early. It was only like 10:30, and I had a big box, and I tripped over one of those parking blocks because I was blocking my view.
You couldn't see it.
I couldn't see it, and I tripped over and broke my pinky.
Fuck!
Oh yeah, and then they had to send me home. They were so pissed off because it was Christmas
They're like,
Eve.
"You sure you can't work?
You know what I mean?
With it?"
And I'm like, "Dude, I just broke my pinky." Like,
and you bandage it up to the other finger?
Oh, but I tripped in front of like 5 people.
Oh, God.
Oh, it was horrible. And
You're
I mean,
a big dude.
I ate shit. It wasn't like I kind of fell. I ate shit because the box was so big. I was just, anyways. But yeah, that's you know, stories like those, dude. We want to hear those stories. Industrial accidents, just keep the death ones out of it. But you know, industrial accidents that you healed from, we'll go ahead and hear those. But please comment, hit us up on you know, instant messenger or whatever. Our email.
In the comment section even.
Yeah, like I said. And let us know if you guys got stories. We want to hear them. And everybody out there, believe it or not, they want to hear them too.
Maybe they should open a Dropbox where people can like leave like their voice messages.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool because then you get to hear.
Yeah, because then you can hear them. Yeah.
That one story, was it a CVS worker I was just listening to? A box fell on his hand or something like that. He had a glove on.
That was Manny.
Oh,
he worked.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah, he worked at it. I worked with him in Anaheim. He was my old roommate.
Both worked with him.
Brutal.
And a box fell and it like caught his hand, and he was wearing a glove. And he's like, "Why is it all wet?"
He worked with it, just ripped up.
Yeah, Like he fucking pulled the glove off, and the piece of his finger was still stuck inside of the glove.
Híjole.
So I remember because like we were waiting for management to take him to the hospital, and I was already off the clock when this happened. I was just outside waiting for him to get off so we can go home. And he comes out. I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I cut the tip of my finger off," and like he's sitting there holding his fucking blood sitting everywhere, and the customer counter is like right where the guard check is right there, and they used to have benches, and we used to sit there and smoke, and just wait for each other to come out, and we sat there for like fucking I think we were there for like 25 minutes, waiting for management to come out and take him to the fucking hospital
With his finger cut off.
Yeah,
Now he has a short stubby.
He does. If you look at it, maybe I'll see if I can get the clip up and I'll try and zoom in on it. It kind of looks like a frog's finger where they're fat at the end, like it's skinny and then it's like, because they had to fold the meat over and sew it up.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Crazy stories.
But
like I said, everyone loves story time. We want to tell them. So get your stories in so we can hear them. We want to hear them.
We definitely want to hear stories.
What are you thinking over there, Sawas?
Just a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stories. Got a lot of stories. A lot of stories.
No conspiracy stuff?
Well, that's off the rails. That's another
off
show.
the rails with Sawas Porras.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely.
I like, it's kind of a story, nothing crazy, but like I said, I'm the fly on the wall. You know what I mean? And I've seen it firsthand. Like, it bothers me when I hear the members saying, like, you guys don't do shit for us, this and that. And I'm just like, dude, I have seen it firsthand where it was like Eric and I think Green was there, a few other BAs. We were doing something, filming. And I'm like, dude, these guys are just walking through the yard and people just roll up, boom, boom. Hey, I got this complaint, this and that, blah, blah. And they go, okay. And they like collected all these complaints and literally the same day went right to the management office. So again, like I'm a photographer, so I got to go in with them and like sit there and like listen. I'm like, holy shit. Like these guys, these members, these employees are voicing their issues. Same day, it's being addressed. Like the union is talking to management.
Yeah.
And then it was solved right then and there. It didn't have to go to, didn't have to have a grievance write up, nothing like that. It was just like, boom, right there, taken care of. Like, I'm like,
Fixed.
that's amazing. That's like what we do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not really a story. I've just,
No, but that's
learning about
yeah.
what the union does for us, aside from all the amazing benefits that we get as humans.
Yeah.
And as workers. Like, that's
Definitely. Union workers, and I'm telling you, ask a non-union worker if especially a non-union
they
laborer.
get a pension.
If
Do they get
all the benefits
all the
that you do
benefits?
as a Teamster or as a union member?
So on that note, John, that's my job too. That's what I would like to do. Talking about updating people. All the young bucks have no idea what a pension is. I barely knew what a pension was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't understand the health benefits because they're on their parents. They don't need to understand it.
They're also
They
young and
Healthy.
Yeah.
and they all want to be entrepreneurs. So they look at a UPS job as like, oh, I'm just going to be here for a year or two. I don't care about all that stuff. But,
We all said that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I do
the
believe
most
we all
part.
said that. Not
There are very
20
few
years later.
people that have started UPS part-time and they're like, I'm going to stay here and be a driver. That is very few and far between.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few.
There's a few, yeah.
But that's very few.
Let us know
few
if
and
that
far
was you.
between.
Let us know
I
if
would
that was
say
you.
that
yeah.
those people usually are sons and daughters of somebody that's already there.
Somebody that's
that
already
understands.
there.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
those people are like, okay, I'm going to spend, the rest of my life here. But for the most part, we all started, this is a summer job. This is while I go to college job. This is, it's just part-time. I'm, whatever. It's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But a lot of us get sucked into the brown hole.
That did not sound
You had to go
right.
there. You had to go there. The brown hole.
I usually call it the black hole, but
Yeah.
I thought it was fitting.
It's
Yeah, it is. It's just gross.
brown and yellow.
Because it's always leaking bullshit.
Well, yes. So, I mean, before we wrap it up, Bobby, is there anything else that you want to let us know where we're going? It's the new direction.
Well, yeah. So please follow the new Instagram. It's just Teamsters 952. We decided to just start a new one. That way we have everything on. It's brand new, updated, everything like that.
Okay.
We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X, and YouTube now.
Truth.
Hoo-wee.
Wow.
Truth?
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I mean, are they all the same name? Teamsters 952?
No, unfortunately, some of the old administration took some of the old names. So, but it is all Teamsters, either local 952 or Teamsters 952. So,
okay, so
but
look
there
us
is a
If you send me all the stuff, I'll put it all up.
yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing is like all of the icons are the same.
Okay.
So
You guys should have did 952 Teamsters. The domain might have been open for all of them. Yeah.
George is taking my job, guys.
Sorry.
I'm just George was like one comms guy to another.
Well, just because
you guys come in on Monday, you see George, communications director. Like, what happened?
No,
to
just
Bobby?
because most locals they usually
No,
go Teamsters first, and then they put the thing
you're
afterwards.
absolutely right.
Don't worry about it, Bobby, because as soon as he finds out what you get paid versus what he get paid on the truck,
That's true.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
That's the other thing too. Is
I don't know, man, but that might be nice on my fucking old ass legs.
Oh yeah.
and we get air
It'll
conditioning.
feel good. You'll just be broke.
Just be broke.
I mean, closing up, there's 3 things I'd like to say. 4 things, really. 1, you actually just mentioned something. The guys in the union do not make the money that you think we make. That is 100% true. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form complaining, because I've never felt more taken care of because I'm a Teamster.
Right.
So if anybody out there thinks that we're just using your money and we buy fancy cars and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, we probably are, but we're going broke buying those cars. You know what I mean? But
Freaking Honda now is $50,000.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much is it? How much is a new Civic? Like $45K or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, those things
I
last
just
like
in 2022.
But it's still like that's a Civic.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's a Honda.
I'd also like to mention one thing that I've been hearing a lot from this podcast that I'm like, dude, we got to reiterate that, is that you are the union.
Yeah.
We are the representation, but everybody that is a Teamster, we are the union. We are united. Yeah. Like, don't expect us, your local, to do anything unless you're going to be willing to actually do ththings yourself. You know what I mean? And we're not trying to pawn off. We're not trying to pawn off responsibility, but we're trying to get that in your head. You are the union.
Yeah.
You and your members. You are the union. We are here to help you.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I'm still understanding that. I forgot the other 2.
2 more things, Bobby.
2 more things.
Fuck Sabas.
Oh, thank you.
You're fired. How do you get fired twice on the same
How do you get
podcast?
fired twice in one day?
Yeah.
How the hell you get fired?
You gotta be a dumb motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
Yeah, how you get fired on your day off? He's been just dying to say that too.
Were you taking
Actually, when I
boxes?
first started hearing it,
Were
I
you
was
building
like,
a
why am I
clubhouse?
saying fuck Sabas?
Yeah.
And then ever since I found out I was going to be on the show, I'm like, how am I going to say it? Fuck Sabas?
Yeah. He's been planning that.
You know who had a really good one was Victor Mineros. Like I forget which one I listened to, but it's like his was really good.
Why? I don't know. That's a whole other story. But yeah, because he was like, I don't know why I like Sal. He's a nice guy. I don't know why they say that. And then he came and then he started watching the show, or he was on the show, and then he's like, okay, I get it.
It just makes sense.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. But what's the other thing?
This one's really important. We are all organizers. Like,
Yes.
Dude, when you are in an elevator with an Amazon worker, when you're having beers with somebody and you hear that they're being taken advantage of and that it's a bigger corporation, stuff like that, dude, it's not hard to become a Teamster. You just need to have the balls to be able to talk, but biggest thing right now is with Amazon, because you always find yourself with an Amazon worker. And I guarantee you,
They're always around.
if you ever say like, hey, have you guys ever thought about unionizing? You know what they say? Oh, we're subcontractors. We don't work for Amazon. I'm like, dude.
You do.
You drive the van. You wear the vest.
You wear the vest.
You deliver the package.
Where do the checks?
You get paid
and you
by-
have,
Where do the checks come from?
and you have to go by their rules. That you are an Amazon employee.
Yep.
I am pro corporation. I love capitalism, but
Same.
Amazon really is taking a crazy advantage of their workers.
Yeah.
They work just as
Yeah.
hard as UPSers.
Yeah.
And UPSers get paid what? 40 times % more or something?
Yeah.
Um,
They're making 20 a
Driver-
little over $20 an
yeah.
hour. And
The drivers are at 43
yeah, they're
right now.
double that right now
Like,
with
yeah,
healthcare and
50% more.
benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you love
100%
Amazon,
more, excuse
because we all love Amazon
yeah,
with what they do,
it's easy.
let's unionize them, man. You know, let's take
They
care of
should
them
be.
because they're taking care of us, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
They should be.
and I think it's just really important that, you know, people need to understand that we're here to protect everybody. We're here to protect our members, get them paid, make sure that they could retire well and smile with their families. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like,
Yeah,
what
we
I
got to
wanted say.
protect other members of the public from unfair labor practices, and that's one of them, right? That's the whole
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. And lastly, be awesome, not asshole. You know what I mean?
Don't be an asshole, so I was just talking to you.
Oh no.
Salvas is an asshole.
I'm never an asshole.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Bobby.
for
We
coming on.
appreciate
Really
you
enjoyed the show.
taking your time, obviously, off the clock, right? But we appreciate you. I am excited, looking forward to what's coming next for us, for Local 952. I'm excited. You got me reinvigorated. I'm ready to go. There's a lot that we need to do, and we need to get there quick. But, you know, we're working on it.
You guys keep up the great work. Keep interviewing interesting people. I don't know how interesting I am, but, you know, the lawyers, the Carla, you know, Eric's,
all the other C's.
everybody, you know,
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's really cool. I know that it's hard to get guests sometimes, but, you know, just keep it up, man. Keep it up because people will want to, like, be on this podcast. So cheers to you guys.
We appreciate you. Thank you again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys, please follow us on Instagram, OCST952.
Email us at ocst.000@gmail.com for with all your questions, comments, concerns. Definitely hit us up with your stories. We want to hear your stories.
Yes.
And in the future, I'll probably create like a new Dropbox account where you can like send in voice recordings. So that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, we want to hear your stories. We want to tell them. We want to get them out there to the
wanna
world.
get them out.
I know you guys have great stories
Everyone's
out there.
got a good story, right?
Everybody
has to have at least one good story.
So thank you again. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.